Hello, Thriving, Healing, Evolving Rural Women. It's Rebel Black here, and I'm joined today by Shane Miller, who is the Rural Woman Bloom Merchant, and we just love having her as part of the team because Shane has got extraordinary experience in both the corporate world and in rural Australia in business. She's worked for big companies in sales and marketing. She's managed multi-million-dollar budgets, and she's also spent years working with business owners in rural communities, helping them to overcome some of the challenges that they face to really grow their businesses and have thriving economies in their rural communities. Welcome, Shane.
Hi, Rebel. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm fantastic. I'm excited for this conversation.
It is very exciting because I think there's so much opportunity in rural Australia, and especially for women, and I'd love to see more women harness that opportunity. So it's great to talk to you today.
Yeah, look, I think we've had this conversation many a time about what we're seeing happening in our rural communities around decline and, you know, closing shop fronts and what so in the work that you've done with rural businesses and with the rural women that you've worked through in the Rural Woman, what are some of the things that you hear them saying as being their issues and challenges?
I think the main thing is the self-talk. There's that. There's also, you know, the blame game a little bit. It's somebody else's fault. It's not recognising that, you know, they have some self-worth about it and own it and can change it just by changing themselves. So, you know, if they're well, their business will be well. And I think that's what I hear them say, that, you know, things are bad, it's in decline, you know, and it's, you know, that it's not looking at the positive and taking responsibility for that. And so, you know, today I really want to talk to you about maybe how we can sort of give them a few tips around, you know, turning things around in the short term to make significant changes.
Yeah, well, we'll come to that. I'm really keen, though, to kind of plant in people's minds the sort of things, because often we're not even aware of the things that we're saying. We tell these stories out loud to other people, to ourselves in our head, or to our partners and family. We're not often even aware how negative we are. So,
no.
What are some of the stories, I guess, that we're hearing from people, women and men in business? What are we hearing them say?
Yeah, well, we're hearing them say, look, there's so many shops vacant, nobody's doing anything about it, you know, council aren't doing anything. We're hearing them say that, you know, sales are crap, everybody's shopping online, nobody's shopping locally. We're hearing them say, you know, that I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know. I've been in business 20 years and I've never seen anything like it. Or the other one is, I've seen it up and down. I'll just, you know, play it out and see where it goes. So for me, they're the stories that I'm hearing, and that's self-perpetuating. So the more you talk about it, the more people believe it.
Yes.
So I look at it and go, yeah, wow, we need to change that story and really start looking at how we can work closer with ourselves to really change that, because the stories are all really negative. And I think it's just culture as well, that we just keep, you know, it's in agricultural communities where things are subject to weather and a whole lot of things outside of our control. We get swept up in that mantra.
Yeah.
Of, you know, we haven't had any rain and so there's no crops. And so, you know, the flow and effect to businesses is they run on that mantra. And yet there's some businesses that I work with locally that have opened up in the height of drought and just are soaring because they've changed their talk.
Yes, that's right. It's fascinating to watch that cycle, isn't it? That people do just buy into the stories that they're telling, or they're hearing other people tell as well, and then their behaviour starts to mimic that, doesn't it, as well? So people will be feeling the kind of behaviour that we see, or the patterns that people will be coming out in business are that they're exhausted, they don't feel like getting out of bed in the morning to open the shop, they can't see, you know, they're not changing their displays anymore. Like, is that the sort of behaviour that we're seeing then that's direct reflection of these stories?
Yeah, there's that loss of enthusiasm, there's that lack of zest, there's the, They don't even know what to choose when they go on buying trips. It's just like, I'll just get what I think. You know, it's the loss of strategy a little bit as well, and the quest to sell, and you just see mess.
Yes.
So you walk into some businesses and it's just like there's $200 silk dress sitting on a plastic coat hanger ruffled up amongst other dresses, and it's kind of like, well, if a customer comes in and wants to spend $200 on a silk dress, I'm pretty sure that I know I wouldn't want it rumpled and crumbled amongst, you know, because I'd want it on a beautiful hanger trying to say I'm beautiful and I'm worth $200. But and it's just they get store blind as well.
Yeah.
So it's that blindness because they're seeing it every day, and we all get it. You can't see the forest for the trees.
Yep.
Because you're working in it so much, and sometimes we need to take a step back and work on it.
Yes. And I guess what you and I are really passionate about, and what the Rural Woman stands for, is that we're not even necessarily sometimes talking about working on the business, are we?
No, definitely not. What I've found is, I worked with a client late last year who wanted to sell more product, and she's an agricultural-based lady, and she thought that it was just about, you know, she didn't have the sales skills or the marketing skills, and it actually came down to more being about things that were holding her back, which had been old beliefs and programs that she'd been taught as a child to believe about herself. And those beliefs were really what was holding her back, because they no longer existed. You know, these were something that she was told as a 2-year-old. And so we worked on just the delete program of how we can change the beliefs and belief in self and the self-worth. And, now she's got a clear strategy. She knows where she's going. She knows how to do it. But she also knows how to pick up on when those patterns come back and how to check in and go, oh, yeah, no, that's the past. I don't want that belief system again. So I changed my behaviour.
But she also, but the outcome for her was when she worked on herself. She actually got more product, didn't she?
And it was all
you taught her more sales or marketing. It was because you did this other work. She worked on herself.
It was actually all about that, and the sales and the marketing came as a result of her being well. Yes. Of her changing her language, her energy, her beliefs, which there, as a result of that, changes the behaviour. Yeah. And the behavioural change is a consequence of changing those things. Yeah. And so that's what I think we at the Rural Women, we're really about that healing first. Yes. So which gets them to evolve and then thrive. Yeah. And so that's what we worked on. We worked on the healing side of it with her, and then, you know, she started to evolve into a different person, and even her husband noticed. Yeah. And his behaviours changed towards her because the energy had shifted. Yeah, that's right. And then they got better business outcomes. Yeah. But it's not from working on the business, so it's not about not. It's not about that behaviour change. So no. Again, I want to this stuff's so exciting, and you and I, you know, we've been living this and working this for some years and really seeing the outcome. So we want to say 3 simple things that the rural women that are listening to this can do themselves. You know, they can take action immediately to start to shift, to start to see better outcomes in their lives. So we're going to talk about 3 things, or you're going to talk about 3 things. Energy, belief, and language are the 3 things we're going to focus on. Again, to get business outcomes, but we're not working on the business. That feels a bit uncomfortable, doesn't it? Yeah, it can do, because people are like, what do you mean? Because you are the business in a lot of cases in regional Australia and regional communities. You know, Shane Miller is her business, Rebel Black is her business, and we walk our talk. Yeah. And community doesn't differentiate a lot of the time, but sometimes the business owner does, and it's like, well, hold on, no, that you're sort of one and the same. So if you work on you, the outcomes are going to be better for your business. Yeah. So I think in terms of the 3 tips, energy shift is really about, instead of being in that space of a bit of darkness, we try and add a little light over it. And it's not saying get rid of the dark, it's just saying recognise that things aren't as bright as they could be, but it's showing gratitude and maybe being grateful for the fact that you know, you've got a business that's trading and that has delivered so much to the community in the past and can in the future, but it's about being grateful for what you've got as opposed to, you know, sitting in that space of wallowing about what you don't have.
So that's cool. We hear a lot about gratitude. So what sort of practices could people try? So they hear people in the ether saying, you should be grateful, grateful do this, grateful that.
Yep.
What are some actual practices people can do that you've seen, you know, you've had clients do that have worked or that you've used yourself?
Yeah, look, I love the gratitude journal or the gratitude diary, and it's just every day writing down a few things that you're grateful for.
Yep.
So it can be 1, it can be 3, it can be 5. It doesn't matter. It's not about the number. It's about the process.
Yep.
And it's about recognising what you're grateful for. You know, it could be as simple as, I'm really grateful that my husband put his boots in the cupboard last night.
Yep.
When he got changed. It can be that simple. I'm grateful that I had 5 customers walk through the door and buy something today.
Yep.
You know, I'm grateful that I got a smile from the coffee man because he never smiles at me. You know, but it's recognising the goodness in what you're doing every day as a human being. As
you say, it's the lightness, isn't it? So what we were saying earlier is that people see the story themselves, that things are bad and that things are, you know, going terribly and that it's all getting worse. That's dark. And so what gratitude does is allow you to add light, yeah?
Absolutely. And it's a great process to actually go back and read and look back on and go, oh, wow, things are pretty good.
Yes. Yeah. So
I've had clients be grateful because they woke up in the morning and could get out of bed.
Absolutely. Well, breath in your body. I mean, there's a lot to be grateful for. But when you're swimming in the sea of darkness, and that's where you sort of self-perpetuate, it's hard to do that. People can find it hard to do that, can't they?
Absolutely. So if you do something simple, just get a little notepad, get a nice book. If you want to really get into it, you can buy gratitude journals, and like that are specifically designed for doing gratitude journaling. So you can go as simple as a notepad from the newsagent to something as elaborate as a gratitude journal. It's totally up to the individual.
Yep.
But it's about practicing it every day.
Yep.
And make a time for yourself every day to do it. And I think that's what sometimes we forget to do as rural women. We're so busy being busy, and women in general. We've got lots going on in our world. It's like, well, take 5 minutes out of your day and just recognise a few things that you can be grateful for each day. And that practice alone will start shifting your energy.
Exactly. Beautiful. All right. So energy is good. Just a simple gratitude exercise every single day. What about belief? Belief.
So belief is about self-worth. And it's about believing in your own ability. And, you know, the Rural Woman's mantra in terms of programs that we've delivered around You Are Enough is really about where we can shift that belief. And so the process I recommend is that every time a negative thought or something negative is coming out of your mouth, I am enough. I'm enough. That's your mantra. That's what you're talking to yourself every day. I've got clients that have written it on their bathroom mirror.
Yep.
And they just have, I am enough, I am worth it.
Yep.
And that's what they read as they're cleaning their teeth every morning. And I've actually had one of my clients, she was talking with her husband one night, and he said, I think you need to go and read what you've got written on the mirror in the bathroom.
Nice.
Yeah, and he directed her to that because he's also recognised that she doesn't believe she's enough, but he does.
Yeah.
And quite often, if we don't believe it, then we're not going to talk it and we don't walk it.
And we can't receive it either, can we, Fane?
No, absolutely. You know, when somebody gives us a compliment, we just flick it to the side because we don't believe it. Or, you know, the simple thing of being, you know, told, oh, I love your dress. And instead of saying thank you, we go, yeah, I bought it at so-and-so.
Yeah.
Because we deflect the compliment.
Yeah.
So that's another process about beliefs as well. We can do 2 things there. We can work on the mantra of I am enough, and we can either write lines of that every day for 10 minutes, or we can stand there while brushing our teeth and tell ourselves that in the mirror because we know that mirror work works.
Yep.
And there's like a lot of research that'll tell you that mirror work works. So that's another good process. But it's also about being able to say thank you as well, and changing that belief of we're worth a compliment.
Yes.
So when somebody gives us one, accepting that, and that will help with the gratitude as well. So there's a nice little crossover there, and they're the practices that I would encourage women to start using to change their situation.
Fantastic. The compliment thing is so powerful. I was talking to a group of women that were at You Are Enough recently, and we were talking about the compliment thing as evidence of a lack of worth. You know, they sort of said, well, who can compliment? And 1 in 20 put their hand up. And the rest were sort of laughing and saying, yeah, normally I'm just scrambling to say what I can say nice about them.
Yeah.
So we deflect in that way too. We say, oh, well, you look nice. You know, it's like this, and then it becomes this back and forth. No, you look nice. No, you look nice.
Yeah, as opposed to just saying, thank you, that's really nice.
And not feeling compelled. That's right, not feeling compelled to, you know, backhand it, that it's really about just owning it. It's very
and accepting it. It's about the acceptance.
Yeah, so get uncomfortable with that because it will be uncomfortable, but it is absolutely a brilliant way of starting to come home to that belief that you're enough.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. And the third thing we promised was about language. So
that little self-talk. You know, the stories. It's about the stories. So it's about recognizing somebody else is telling you the story and you not getting sucked into it. Because that quite often is. But it's also about changing it to positive and affirmative. You know, my business is doing well. I'm happy with where it's going. I'm happy with myself. I'm enjoying what I do. I like getting up in the morning. It's that self-talk of and recognizing when there's a negative comment and going, yeah, I don't want to talk like that anymore. That's not my match, or that's not my spin. Yeah. And not getting caught up in the spin. So it's really about the positive, and also just not getting caught up in other people's stories about, you know, those negative things that we were talking about, blaming other people and just looking after yourself. Yeah. So it's really about, you know, working on the energy, and the beliefs will also help you with your language, because you're already starting that. You know, what you're grateful for is going to be positive. What, you know, the I'm enough is positive. But it's the affirmations as well around language. Yep. You know, I love me. Yep. I like what I see. I like who I am. I love who I am. Yeah. It's really around that. Yeah. So I think if we start shifting the language, and even at the start, because this is a really uncomfortable bit for some people. Yeah. If it's just about sitting there and recognizing the negative and starting to stop the negative self-talk. Yeah. That's a great place to start. And the thing that's interesting, I find, Shane, is that when you start becoming really aware of this stuff, you become more aware of other people's languages, you know, other people's language and belief and the stories they're telling. And absolutely. You realise, I realise certainly when I'm having conversations with, you know, average people on the street, not the women in the women's community, obviously, because they're all highly aware. Absolutely. The average person in the street really is living in a pit of negativity. And and it's a fear-based culture, really. Fear-based culture. And so giving yourself some tools around that, like to be able to just say that's your opinion. Yes. Or if people are talking about things being hard or they're not being enough, being able to counter that and say, well, I really like that I'm making enough time, or I really like that rural Australia has a bright future because of, you know, whatever. So it's about hearing when other people are being negative and trying to find for yourself the positive spin. And it's also about, you know, knowing what's going on in your community that is positive. Yes. I think that's important too, and saying to people, but how fantastic was it that this happened? You know, in my local community just before Christmas, we had an amazing event that had 4,000 people from all over the country come.
Wow.
And there was about an input of $2 million into our community for a weekend.
Wow.
Every motel was booked out. You know, there was a variety of age groups. You know, we needed to instead, and the self-talk around that was, oh, all these drunk young people were out all night, blah, blah, blah. I said, what about the positive of that this community has an extra $2 million contributed to it in 2 days because all these youngsters came to celebrate something here on the weekend.
That means something.
Oh,
yeah.
And people went,
yeah.
I didn't realise. I'm like, why don't we celebrate the goodness that is happening in our community?
Yeah.
Because it feeds on itself. If you can start telling the positive stories, then the positive will build on the positive. But if we're all stuck in that negative fear-based spin, where we're not experiencing the joy and we're not experiencing the self-worth and the love of what we do and the love of who we are, then we're going to be stuck there.
Absolutely.
And we're not going to shift. And we've got so much to celebrate in our part of the world.
Sometimes it's easier for us to see it in others than it is in ourselves. And I think that exactly what you're saying is such a great tool to become aware of the negative stories others are telling. Yeah. Because you're telling them too, you just can't hear them as well.
Absolutely.
So if we hear them in others, we can do just exactly what you just described, is say to other people, well, hang on, yeah, okay, that happened, but what's the other side? What's the light? What's the positive? What can I dig around in that negative story that person just told me to shine to them the positivity? Because the more you do that, obviously you're radiating that, but it starts to shift you internally and you'll start telling less negative stories too.
Absolutely. And I won't say that it's easy and I won't say that it's always accepted.
No.
Because it's a totally different thought process tradition.
Yeah.
And then there's not a high adaptation of change necessarily. No. So be mindful. I'd say to our listeners, be mindful that this is coming, but this is about you. Yeah. This is about your personal development.
That's right.
This is about who you want to be and how you want to be better at what you're doing in your own life and who you are.
Yep.
Because if you work on yourself and you work on you being well, your business will get better.
Yeah.
Because there's a positivity that's driven in it. People will feel it when they walk into your shop.
Yeah.
If you've got a shop, they will just know, wow, this is a nice space to be in. I want to play here.
Yeah.
I want to spend here.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of the law of attraction, you know. What you put out there is what you get back. So if you want to put out the positive, you're going to get that back.
Yes. And that you've got to do that at belief level as well as language and your energy as well, isn't it? So it's not just telling the positive stories, because that's fine, but you've really got to understand that you've got, energies that are also need to be in alignment, and then your thoughts and languages.
Absolutely. I mean, observe how people are walking.
Yeah.
Are they walking with their shoulders back and their heads up, or are they walking swooped over with their head in a phone?
Yeah.
It tells a story. In the 1950s, we all walked with our heads high. We had amazing posture, but we also had purpose and pride, and we were happy with life and things were prosperous.
Yeah.
We can create that again. We just need to change the way we position ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, I know you and I could talk forever on this, but I reckon those are 3 areas and at least one thing that you've heard today. I'm sure that our listeners can take away with them and start to implement immediately and start to see results. And we would always love to hear what results you're achieving as a result of your beliefs, your language, or your energy shifting.
Absolutely. I'd love to hear how it's gone.
And also keep an eye out for Shane's upcoming program, the Rural Woman Business Accelerator. It's a 6-week program, and it's going to be a lot more in depth to what we've just touched on briefly today to help you grow your business, accelerate your business, in fact, with a very strong focus on some of the things that we've spoken about today, really focusing in on you. Who are you and how are you growing? And it's going to be very exciting, isn't it, Shane?
Absolutely. Can't wait to get started with some amazing women to just get them going. And we've chosen to do it over 6 weeks because we really want that accelerator process for women, because we don't have time to sit on our laurels. We just need to make it happen, and we can if we all work together. So
Absolutely.
Can't wait.
The philosophy that sits around everything at the Rural Woman is, of course, bloom where you're planted. And what we absolutely believe and see happen on a daily basis is that when rural women bloom, the place, the people, and the prosperity around them blooms as well. And that they see that in all areas of their life. And that's what's really exciting about what Shane will share through the Business Accelerator program, is that when you start to focus in on blooming yourself, everything changes. So your relationships, your income, your business, the way that you move your body even, it all starts to shift, but you only have to focus on simple things. It's not trying to fix all those areas on their own. So very much around bloom where you're planted. And
Absolutely.
Shane will be talking business, but it'll mostly be about blooming, and look forward to talking more about it very soon.
Excellent. Thanks, Rebel. It's been great talking to you today.
Thanks, Shane.